Baba Paroko, Father Thomas, my own son, Father Andama, Church, General Mathethe, General Fatma, my sister. You didn't say that you are my sister, but those who were in Junior's wedding, they know how far we've come and they know my history. Retired generals, Colonel Farah, retired officers, serving officers. For the interest of time, we'll just read our tributes. Please allow us to read our tributes. We'll not have another chance. I will not give stories. We'll read as it is. And forgive us that we are late. Thank you. I'll let the children start.
Good evening, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Wangashi, as most of you know. And so I know most of you were there at the service, so I'm not going to read verbatim. I am going to thank you for being patient with us. My father had the most brilliant mind that I have ever encountered, and I thank you for reminding us of his intellect. And I'm saying so because he always remembered things that he did in high school while I could not, and I am clearly much younger. So I want to thank him for passing on his wisdom to us in every single conversation. I want to thank you for saying so many kind words about him, because I believe it is a reflection of his kindness that we're seeing in you. It is a mirror, and for that I am eternally grateful. I am grateful for his life. I am grateful for his presence, because he was extremely present. I am grateful that we get to lay him down in a place that he absolutely loved. So, if you open your tribute at the end of mine, I end with a blessing. And I'd like for all of us to say it together. So I will read the last paragraph. It says, "In recent years, you never missed the chance to remind me that you loved us and that you were so proud of us. Those words, yet profound, now echo in my heart. I shall miss you so deeply, my dear. So much. And so, in this moment, I offer my blessing to you, my dear Papa. If we can say it together, please. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May he make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May he lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace, my Papa. Thank you. It really, truly has been the greatest honor of my life to have this man, James Guyo Gitahi, as my father."
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Marianne Montet. I'm honored to be standing before you to pay tribute to a man who I had the privilege to call Dad. So, I don't know how to shorten mine. I think it's short enough. I can just go ahead and read it as is. We're here to celebrate the life of a great man, a hard-working and accomplished man, an inspiring and kind soul, a true gentleman. But beyond all these accolades, his greatest role was being the best husband, our dad, and our baby's beloved Guka. I am honored and blessed to have called you Dad, my beloved uncle that stepped in the gap and became a dad to me in every sense of the word. You took me in and loved me as your own, giving me a sense of stability, belonging, and unconditional love. Your guidance, discipline, and unwavering support molded me in ways I'll forever be grateful for. I think I'll just go to the end. I read this in church the other day, so I'll go to the end of the tribute so that I can give everyone else time to go through theirs. To my whole family, I pray that we will continue to forge ahead with love, intentionality, and togetherness, supporting one another in both good and challenging times, That is how we'll honor Dad's legacy and keep his spirit alive. I love you. I will miss you beyond words. And it's hard to believe you're truly gone. Fly high, Dad.
Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to say all protocols observed. I greet you all. Good afternoon. God is good, and all the time. My name is Samuel Mushoki, also known as Samido. I'm a raised son to Colonel James Gitahi and Honorable Senator Betty Montet. I will read my tribute. Family isn't just about blood. It's about love, kindness, and the people who choose to stand by you no matter what. My dad was one of those rare souls who gave without expecting, who loved without conditions, and who made a difference just by being himself. It was my honor to visit visit him often, either here at Manzoni or in Nyari. And recently, I was visiting him almost every Tuesday. I remember the Tuesday before the fateful day. I came home from work. I had bought him something. Little did I know it was the last time. I was in my police uniform. In his norm, he stepped out immediately. He had the gate open. I saluted him, and in a playful way, he started inspecting my uniform and keenly looked at my name tag. He immediately began teasing me about how some of my bosses in the police force love adding so many titles in their name tag, HSC, CGH, whatever. Then he mentioned one of my bosses, whom I won't mention the name, something he said you wouldn't find in the military. He was a great storyteller. His stories were mostly aviation ones or a topic he had read on the newspaper. I remember one time he was telling me how ridiculous politicians can be. And I found myself in a dilemma on how to respond, bearing in mind that his lovely dear wife, who is my mom, is one of them. Dad, you may no longer be here, but your legacy lives in my heart. I will forever be grateful for the love you gave, the lessons you taught, and the unwavering belief you had in me. You were a real dad in every way that mattered. Rest well, Dad.
All protocols observed. Good afternoon. My name is Major Kate Gitahi, and I'd like to thank you all for coming to celebrate the life of a man I was privileged to know as my father-in-law. I remember the first day I met Dad, I was so scared because I did not know how to greet him. From the tribute you can see I was a lieutenant back then and he was a retired colonel. So I was very confused, wondering how I would greet him. Would I freeze? I was not in uniform, so I couldn't salute him. But when the door opened, all he said was, "Hi, I'm JG." And I felt so comfortable and I felt so much at home. And from then on, our relationship grew. We used to spend time together talking, him engaging me in banter, or what we call in the military jazz. And he told me so much about the military, about the history of how the Air Force grew, and a lot about the officers who are serving when he was in the Air Force. So his legacy will definitely live on for generations to come, and I thank God for the memories I have of him and with him. Dad, I love you. You will forever be in my heart. Fly with the angels till we meet again.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. I will try to summarize. I will not read my tribute. in full because it's quite long and I still have a lot I want to say. But firstly, I would just like to give a vote of thanks on behalf of my siblings and my extended family. I look around, I see so many familiar faces and words cannot express, but I really thank you all for coming, for hanging in there till this time, and for Mom also. You really have supported her all along, and we are very grateful. This Mzee right here, he's just been everything to me, and I'm glad all of you have come so that we can pay him his last respects, what he deserves. And it's not easy to say goodbye, but I have to, so I have accepted that. And I know he would be the first one to thank each and every one of you for coming here today. I think I'll not be wrong when I say we will all really miss that great man right there, lying down. And although he's gone, his teachings will remain. He will remain always in my mind, always in my heart. And with your support and the kindness that you've shown this family, we are sure that his legacy will continue. I take 2 of his names, so I'm really proud of that. I will try to keep it as a tradition. And I just want to tell him one last time, I really loved him, and we're going to miss him. Thank you all for coming, and have a good afternoon.
Thank you. I'll also try to be as brief. I hope I'll make it. One of my sons, Iha, is not here. Of course, as a big son, there were some errands to be run, and I think that's why he's gone. And his tribute is also here. I'll try to be as fast as I can. We did it in church, but I'm sure you know that I could do this again and again and again, given a chance, and especially today, when maybe this is my last few words to the love of my life. I can't even find it. As they find it, I just want to say to my lovely brothers and sisters from the Senate, my colleagues, it's been wonderful. The love you've shown me, standing by me. You are the first responders. You've been at home throughout. You've supported us. You've prayed for us. Thank you, and may God bless you mightily. Of course, to we call him Daddy, and my big sister, I have no words. I don't think I can ever thank you enough in my life. I'll try to read it as fast as I could. Good people, let me also mention, no, this is not where it starts. Yeah. I must confess that writing this tribute to my beloved husband is hard, but not difficult at all for me. This is because I can truly give a full account of our life together from the first day we met. To start with, I had many names for you, Jay, which are a true reflection of who you were to me. It still sounds very difficult for me to say who you were. So please allow me to just say who you are to me. Allow me to address you as I did for those beautiful, short 43 years we spent together. J, JG, JA, Gitahi wakwa, Mr. Organizer, Kanali, Kanopas, Baba Wange, Murio Wangeshi, Guka J, and the easiest of them all, which you were very happy when I called you, was Hi Sweetie. I met Jay through my late brother-in-law, Captain Muriuki, while I was in college in Nairobi. Captain Muriuki would call and insist that he wanted me to meet his friends, I believe because he knew who I was. Then after the 1982 coup, the 1982 coup happened, and they were confined in the base for a period of time. After roughly 2 months, they were freed to leave the base since the confinement was lifted. Captain Morioki was so determined to accomplish his mission, so he called and asked that I meet him in town, and we met at Eureka Hotel in town. Captain Morioki showed up at Eureka with young officers from Kenya Air Force. I also came, as it is the norm, with very beautiful young girls from my college. As I came to learn, those young Air Force officers were shaken by the experience of the coup that had resolved to get married and settle down. The said officers, then Lieutenant Murioki, my brother-in-law, Lieutenant J, him, Lieutenant PK, Lieutenant Junge, the late Lieutenant Muli, and the late Lieutenant Muli. Thereafter, we were invited to the officers' mess, and that was the beginning of our beautiful life together. As girlfriends of officers, we had to be initiated to the tough life, which was also interesting. We were put to test not only by our own, but by all their friends who at times insisted, who at some instance had the last say as to whether you would qualify to be a good wife. I passed the test, but I was presented with a notebook of instructions on the kind of a wife he wished and wanted me to be. As I stand here today, I thank God. I am proud, and I am proud to say I did my best. My Jay was a gentleman and lived his life as the most humble person I've ever known. His wish was to see me and our family living happily. He made sure that we never lacked and gave us his all and best. Jay had confidence and believed in me. He supported all the ideas I presented to him. He allowed me to do all that I wished for the sake of our family and our future. He was my number one supporter, and we lived our lives as one. What made Jay happy was to be given a listening ear. Those who know him know that he could talk and talk and talk. He would tell stories, even repeat them. Such stories would include flying lessons with students and the different flights he had undertaken. He would tell me so many stories of flying that our children nicknamed me his first officer. At home, Jay was the darling of everyone, young and old, an organizer whose books were all arranged and all his documents were neatly filed and labeled. Allow me to say that also Jay, and being not selfish, was writing a book. And when the Kenya Air Force was attaining 40 years, he offered to give that book, and I think it was published, like a memo about the Air Force from the beginning to the 40 years. He had collected all documents, all pictures, everything, all the firsts in the Air Force. He did that so diligently in the midst of all his busy days. And thanks also to an officer who is a brigadier now, who was the one who helped him do that. Though we were not there when the book was being launched. We were in Egypt and we were not invited. For over 30 years that he flew, he did it diligently. Detailed planning went into preparation for the flights, and it became the norm for us to do all this together. Planning sometimes included pre-watching videos His Excellency President Moi and Kibaki would watch on flight. At times, I would be running around trying to change Kenya shillings to dollars for them to use as they fly out of the country. Those days it was not like now where I'm sure things are organized. They just used to be given money and they're told they're planning. The president is flying either to London, either to Israel, where, and we had to plan that, and I'd become the chief planner of that. Would even sit for hours with managers of the airport catering services to discuss the menu for the flights. This indeed gave me a very strong sense of responsibility, and it made me who I am today. Allow me to mention a few memorable events of his early life as a young Air Force officer. Jay was so organized that he had decided he was not going to live in the officers' quarters where we used to get fully furnished quarters. By the time we got together, he had bought himself a 6-burner cooker, a fridge, a dining table, a beautiful bed, and that made me a very proud young officer's wife. Actually, they were being stored in officers' homes because he could not store them in the one room that they used to live in. Jay cherished and honored his seniors and mentors. One of them being the late General Leshan, and I think somebody mentioned that today, who treated him as his own. And I think this was because Jay had married a Maasai girl. Colonel retired Farah, who is here with us today, was his first instructor and made Jay who he is and is to date. Colonel Farah made sure that he allocated Jay a house right opposite his so that he could monitor his movements, especially when he came home, to ensure he was ready for the next flight and the following morning. It was Colonel Farah who handed over the command of the presidential flight to Jay after he retired, while he was still a very young serving officer. A duty he performed with passion until the retirement of His Excellency, the late President Moi and President Mwai Kibaki. And he flew President Uhuru also for some time before he was posted to Egypt as a military attaché. Allow me also to mention the late Brigadier retired Eshkati was his big brother and also his instructor. Jay was a good friend to the late Major Marende, who later went to KQ, who was like his brother too. It was actually Major Marende who, from the first day he met me, told Jay, "Mnyaks, this is the lady who will be your wife." And amen to it. I stand here 44 years later as Mrs. Munyaks. Good people, let me also mention a few friends, since I know that this is what Jay would have wanted me to do. I start with his partners in crime, the few who have continued to be close to him with their families during good times and hard times. Major General Githenji was younger, but came to be very close to Jay when they were flying together at the VIP. Uncle Kano retired PK, we call him Uncle PK, our best man. Kano retired Tonio, Kano retired Mbithi, RM, Kano retired Joroge, Gukawa Pepe, who was much older than them. Kano retired Shava, Dr. Ambassador Kano retired Karao, and Major Minor, just to mention a few. Jay remained very close to Mrs. Susan Munguti, wife of the late Captain Munguti, and her children, plus many others I cannot be able to mention here. In the civilian world, Jay made many friends. Those included men of Nyari West, members of St. Rose Small Christian Community, which we worship with, Uncle Jasho and his family, his Moratina team, and they are here, and I say Asante Sana Sana. Let me also thank Jay for his great love and acceptance of our both families. Our home has always been the meeting point for parties and merrymaking. Jay was always ready to serve everyone and make them comfortable. He was comfortable being among my women group ladies and friends. But one thing for sure, wherever he was around them for more than 1 hour, they would learn a lesson or two about flying. In the midst of his very busy schedule, Jay, or Baba Wange, as we called him, had a group he enjoyed. And in this group, we say we are a family. We chose to be family. And that is the family you saw here. And the family we call Muranga Group. I'll not talk about it. But Muranga Group, why we call ourselves Muranga Group? Muranga Group is the home of Dr. and Mrs. SK, where for over 30 years we go for lunch. We meet there very often. We stay there for days. We meet there for every Christmas. And I think in all those years, it's only one Christmas that they were not around. But they made sure that we were booked, the whole group, at Windsor to enjoy the lunch together. And I know they will miss him greatly. I won't talk about Muranga Group. Baba Masharia talked about it. But what I would say, they would sit, or we would sit for hours and hours and talk until morning, and we would always wonder what they were talking, and of course repeating themselves. For the rest of the group, the Muranga Group, I know you'll miss him greatly. To you, Dr. SK, Daddy, as we call you, Uncle Joe Komish, Auntie Gathoni, Mama Mash, Auntie Cecilia Maina, Auntie Wanjiko, Auntie Anne, Auntie Mary, Mweshimiwa, Elachi, my sister, I feel you, and I know you will truly miss him. Thank you, and thank you again. In fact, Jay had a bedroom in Muranga where everybody, even the workers up to today, call it, that is Baba Wange's bedroom in their house. I'm trying to shorten it. Mr. Ada Osia, my brother, Baba Debi, I know you have lost. He was not only a brother-in-law, but a true brother. We shared everything. We did everything together. I beg you all that you do not forget us. Now, who was Jay to me? My love, my husband, my teacher, the one we did everything together. Our everything has never been mine or yours, but ours. My supporter number one, my cheerleader. We never had separate bank accounts. You allowed me to be myself, always wanting me to be happy. Now I have learned I had learned to listen and listen even when you talked in your sleep. How we had planned a happy retirement in this Manzoni home, a place you truly loved. Let me also say thank you to him for giving me wonderful children. They gave me wonderful children. I thank God for them. Please pray for them. They are what he would have wanted to be. He was proud of them. And my only request is, please remember to pray for my children so that they can be what their dad wanted them to be. He wholly accepted my other two children who became my family, and together we were one happy family. My grandchildren, I think, are not here. They're tired. We also even have tributes from them, but because of time, Junior is telling me it's going to get dark before we lay that to rest. I'll request that since we have enough books, the tributes from the children who are here, who are in America, are here. Please read and accept my apologies that we are not able to read them here. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Will forever be indebted for the kindness, for the love, for the support, and for your prayers. God bless you all. I didn't thank my church enough. I want to say something about our church. Our church, St. Catherine of Siena, we live as a family. Actually, I think you must have all have realized from the first day this happened, our priests have been home for masses every day. Even yesterday, when somebody had said that the family will be at home, will be tired. Tomorrow they will be resting for the following day. Father came and said, we have to pray. And thank you so much. You've prayed so much for Jay's soul. Jay was a friend to all of them. Jay loved them. Father Tesha was at home with us last year when we lost our father in Kitale, and we love them, they love us, and we know that, and I think all of you can see they are relaxed and they are with their people. Thank you so much. May God continue to enrich you. May God continue to bless you. Mbarikiwe sana. Now I want to tell my J, as I would say, that my prayer to him. Alikufa msalaba maofu yetu sisi, Yesu ninakulilia, zivute dhambi zake, hatuna cha kukulipa, nategemea neema, naomba uliandike jina lake mbinguni, ewe Mwokozi Yesu. Msamehe J kabila ajaonja kaburi, ewe Mwokozi Yesu. Msamehe J kabila ajaonja kaburi. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you.